All right. With that said, let's get our guest speaker up here. This is the last Monday in September. Wow, time is going. This young lady, I don't know what city she's in. I know she just recently moved. We're so excited about having her. Well, look forward to having her back in the month of November. Wink, wink, wink. I love she called. She did early part of the month when I was traveling, and she talked about her commitment to her family, how she's committed to make sure that her siblings are taken care of. To me, that blessed me like you would not believe. I almost walked into a ditch that day. I was out in Savannah, Georgia, listening to the call, and I had my camera off, but I was sitting there. I was just blown away by her commitment level. Folks, you know, I'm going to say this. We're going to get her up here. How many of you guys like to have 10 or 15 more Roxann Corralejos in your organization? Well, let me tell you something. They're in your city. You just got to go prospect them. Without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to the regional director, the one and only Miss Roxann Corralejo?
Happy Monday, everybody. Oh my goodness, I cannot just not get even more excited every time I hear Mr. Thomas speak. Every time he opens his mouth, it's just that energy that just radiates. So I want y'all to just try to do your best, pick up on some of that energy. I know it's hard not to, but pick up on some of that energy, and that's what gets me going through my day. So thank you, Mr. Thomas. I appreciate you. I appreciate the introduction. My goodness. Taco eating, fun size, ball of energy. Yep, that's me. I like chocolate too. I like other foods, y'all, not just tacos, but definitely my go-to for sure, which is why I try to do my best to get out there, not only in network, but exercise too, because those tacos can really wreak havoc as you get older. But yes, thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. Thank you so much, Mr. Clemens, and all that you do. I was reaching out to him as Mr. Thomas was chatting to help me with some of my pictures and stuff, just to make sure everything's set up for y'all so we can make sure this goes through without a hitch. Sometimes with me and technology, there still will be, but he definitely helps make sure I minimize that as much as I can. So good morning, everybody. I am excited. I know I say that all the time, but I really am. I know it's the end of the month. It's the last week of the month, and this last week gets me excited just because there are some people that are just like, man, I didn't do enough this month, but it's okay. October's coming up. I'm going to start fresh on the 1st. I'm going to keep rocking and rolling on the 1st, and absolutely not. This last week is really where I gung-ho, I push, I hit that line where it's like, man, I didn't do enough this month. Or when I did, it's like, man, I got to keep it going into the next month. But that's kind of how I feel this month. As mentioned, I feel like I didn't do enough. Just because what Mr. Thomas mentioned, I am in a new area, and that's a little difficult with going from warm market to cold market. And I wanted to talk to you guys about how I'm doing that. I know I did that throughout the month, and we started out at the beginning of the month with finding your desire, because I had to find mine. I had to dig deep and figure out, like, hey, what's going to make me work? Because it's so easy when you don't know anybody and you don't have anything going on, and there's no accountability. No one's expecting you to be anywhere or do anything. It's really easy not to. It really is. So I had to dig deep and say, hey, I made this move. I got to get out there. I got to do something. I had to find my desire more than my reason why, just more beyond all this stuff, to get out there and actually work, and what that work is going to look like. And then from there, we talked about different ways of networking. And I know other leaders throughout the weeks have talked about the same thing, and how they network and how they've gotten out into the community and different things that they're doing. So that's what I want to talk about today. But today I'm going to bring you into my world. I know I've talked about different organizations and stuff that I'm doing, but I'm going to go through my whole calendar and talk to you guys about some of the events that I've attended and what I am doing at those events. Now, there are lots of excuses that I hear from everybody. Roxann, I don't have the same energy you have. I can't talk to people the same way you do. We're going to combat those objections, because I know you guys hear them from your team also, but then maybe you're thinking about them yourself. Like, hey, I can't walk into a room and start talking to people. That's awkward. That's different. And that's okay, because there are different ways, that things that we can do to make people come to you. And that's what happens too. But I want you to not only think that, yeah, let's work on making people come to me, but also getting out of your shell and going out there. That's the very first step. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you. And I'm going to show you one of the ways that I'm looking at events in this new area that I'm in. It's on my phone, so it's a little weird, but this is the chamber. So every city has a chamber. Lubbock is a small city. Definitely the events that I've looked up here in Lubbock is different than San Antonio. So one of the places that I have talked about is Meetup. If you log into meetup.com and you check out all the meetup things that are in your area, sometimes they're professional, sometimes they're around activities or hobbies. I found one for people that like board games, people that like cycling, all kinds of different meetups. And in San Antonio, I didn't even have an opportunity to see every meetup in the area. Reason being is because there's so many, and a lot of them just weren't of my interest. I went into meetup.com here in Lubbock. I searched Lubbock, and there were 4 meetup groups. That's it. 4. And one of them was mine that we just started this last weekend. And a meetup group is just a group where people can join, kind of like a Facebook group, I guess. You can join and add yourself to this group, and then you'll get notifications when there are events. So my idea, like I had mentioned to you guys before, is I want to host luncheons, just networking luncheons, start my own networking group where different business owners from different backgrounds. It's going to be not industry exclusive, so you can have as many real estate agents or insurance agents, whatever it is, be a part and just show up and have a luncheon and share ideas with each other and just network and grow. Well, because there's only 4 in Lubbock, it's going to be hard to grow that meetup group naturally and organically the way I usually do. So I have to think of things outside of the box to get myself enough contacts to actually start doing these luncheons. So that's going to take a little bit of time. But one of my solutions was I went to the website. Here's the website for the chamber, and it talks about upcoming events, ribbon cutting, groundbreaking, all kinds of different events that they have going on in the city. So I go straight to events, and each chamber website is going to be different, but this is kind of how they have theirs. And these are all the events that are going on. So I just went straight to chamber calendar, and I check this thing out all the time, almost daily, just to see if anything pops up. But then it has the calendar here, and it tells you stuff that's going on different days. So I'm just going to pick last Monday, and we have this event going on, but I don't really go to that. But the ribbon cuttings, that's something I go to. Ribbon cutting, radiant waxing is one I went to, and I can go through each day and show you everything. But what I want to do is I'm going to stop this part here and go into my photos. There we go, Roxy's World. So now I'm gonna bring you into my world. So I show you how I found some of these events, and Jackie loves that photo. She's already laughing at it. I could have chosen any photo, but I chose this just to remind you guys that I know getting out there and go to these events are sometimes scary and they're nerve-wracking to get out of your box, out of your circle. Just be you, just be genuine. And remember to absolutely enjoy yourself. That's one thing that we want to do is have fun. And we say, and we've heard this all the time, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And one of the ways that I've been able to attract people at these events is I'm having fun. I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm talking to people, I'm making eye contact, and that draws other people to you. So if you're not doing these things and they know you're nervous, sometimes that'll bring 1 or 2 people over to you, but you want to get out of your shell and get out there. So here's Roxy's World. I'm going to bring you into my world. I told you, so Monday, I'm going to start with Monday last week. So I talked to you guys Monday after I talked to you guys Monday. I was like, all right, let me start documenting some of my events so I can share with you guys. So it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to share. So one of the events that I mentioned was Monday at 4:30. I went to a ribbon cutting at Radiant Waxing. So I'm going to show you, here we go, some pictures of these events. So here's one of them. These are some girls that I had met and I had connected with. And one of them you see in the back, Jennifer, she's, I guess, in the middle of us. She is a real estate agent out here. And then off to the opposite side of me, Tazita, she is a life insurance agent out here. So now we have 2 professionals that are they've already built their business here in Lubbock. So one is a great thing that I'm out there connecting. I'm making these personal connections with them. But then also, you know what, Tazita, she's also part of a network marketing life insurance team. And she might not want the opportunity to recruit for ACN. But guess what? She's going to know people that have bills. She's going to have life insurance agents that need health care. So I'm creating these relationships, not just to recruit. And I've said that plenty of times, is that I want to build these relationships. I want to create friendships, because you don't know who they might know that might be interested in what you're doing. So I've been able to hang out with these girls a couple of times, and get kind of into their world. I went over to Jennifer's real estate office. I met some of the people there. I met pretty much the owner, the brokerage, the boss there at Bray Real Estate. I met Mr. Bray and his wife. And it was just a brief introduction. But as I continue to come up to visit, is when I start building those stronger relationships. So that was Monday. When it comes to ribbon cuttings, you guys, one of the excuses I told you I was going to give you, some of the excuses I get is that, hey, Roxann, you know what? I just don't have time to do everything you do. You're doing this full time. Well, you know what? I do other stuff outside of ACN. And one of the things is I don't have time to go to all these things. Well, ribbon cuttings last 30 minutes. They're in, they're out, and they're done. And technically it's like 15, 20 minutes, and then you're there networking and talking to people. And the reason why you don't see a lot of people here is because we were the last ones there. I try to hang out as long as I can to build these relationships and talk to people. So ribbon cutting, at most 30 minutes for the most part. So on Tuesday, what did I tell you? Tuesday, I had another ribbon cutting at Casa of the South Plains. I don't have any pictures of that. I have to get better at taking some pictures, but it's just another event where a bunch of people get together, and they take pictures, they take a quick video, we network, they kind of walk around the property, show what they have going on, and then that's it, and then everybody goes home. So that was Monday and Tuesday. I had 2 events. Now Wednesday was a busy day for me. So Wednesday I had my BNI meeting, and I don't have a picture from this Wednesday, and I did mention to y'all that I had joined a BNI, but this was the one on my birthday. So I took it upon myself to stand out and be different. This is the 3rd time I've ever visited this group, and I visited on my birthday. I went to the dollar store and I got this birthday hat, and that you see that I'm wearing there, and I got a couple more. And you can see as I zoom in, some of the girls right here in the corner are wearing the birthday hat. They're blowing the little blowers. I got noisemakers. I got little beads. I spent $25 because the beads come like 10 in a packet at the dollar store. $25 that morning. And I just walked around and laid them on the tables. I got there early before everybody got there. So now everybody had a blast. I'm new to the group, but guess what, y'all? Everybody remembered me, remembered my name, and remembered that it was my birthday. And they all sang to me, and it was a good event. So it was great that it was my birthday, but I went above and beyond to make sure I stood out and drew attention. These are little things that you guys could do just to make sure, because when you're in a group like this with 25 people in this group, it's going to take some time, like I mentioned last week, to get to know and talk to every single person. Now, something small like this is a way that other people came up to me and say, hey, you know what? I love your personality. Let's schedule a one-to-one, which I've done several. So after that, on meeting on Wednesday, and I can't see him clearly in here, but after this last Wednesday, so we're at 11 a.m. now, I had a one-to-one with one of the gentlemen who owns a cleaning supply company, and he sells products to all the restaurants and hotels in the area mainly. So he helps out these people with their cleaning supplies. He doesn't actually go out and clean these facilities, but he knows all the managers and the decision makers because he's the one that sells them products. Now, he's been working in Lubbock for years, and he's had this company for years. So he knows people. Every time we go out somewhere, we're at a restaurant or a coffee shop or something, people that are even working there are always saying, hey, hi, how are you? How have you been? And so he's well known. So this is someone I want to make a connection with. Well, I've met with him a couple times. And I told him a little bit about what I'm doing, and there was an opportunity to start generating some income on the electricity side with these contacts he already has. So he was interested. I piqued his interest. And so I presented to him on this last Wednesday, showed him the opportunity. Hey, you mentioned that you were open. Let me just show you what we have going on. And his wheels started turning quick. And he was like, all right. So like I can sign up multiple positions, right? And I'm like, absolutely. He's like, okay, well, I'm thinking of doing 3. It'll be me, the missus, and someone from church that's looking for something to do to make some extra cash. And I said, absolutely, fantastic. Have they signed up yet? No. He wanted to talk to the missus and just make sure it was okay to spend that money because he wanted to put in 3 positions, which is fine. But his wheels are turning. He started thinking about, wait, I know a lot of businesses in this area, and everyone's going to have to change their electricity. So that was just piquing interest. And that was from this group. Later on that day, so 12 p.m., this woman right here, Kim, you see right behind me with the red hair. It's actually purple, but it looks red there. She had told me on Wednesday, so I just found this out on Wednesday, that there's going to be an ambassador luncheon. What is that? I didn't even know. But what that is, it's another chamber event. So they all kind of correlate with one another. And the ambassador luncheon is not only with chamber members, so a business can join the chamber, but then individual members can become an ambassador, which they just kind of have some more duties that they have to fulfill to be an ambassador. And one of them is going to these ribbon cuttings that I'm already doing, going to all these events, and it's helping out maybe with registration or whatever it is at these events. So I said, absolutely, this woman knows everybody. Let's go to an ambassador lunch. Well, you're supposed to be an ambassador. I'm not even a chamber member yet. Yet I still was able to go to this event because she invited me. So now you have all these people who, so to say, are the spokesperson for their companies. And we have about 30 people in this room. And again, this lasted 30 minutes. Someone can totally do something like that on their lunch break. So I went to this ambassador lunch. I chatted with a few people. I exchanged some numbers. But one of the great things is the place that we had the event at, the owner sat there and talked to me. As soon as everything was done, he sat there and talked to me for a little while and was asking me questions about energy and how I stand out and how I'm different and what's the difference and what's going to happen. Now, that facility is out of the area that's actually going to be deregulated, but that's fine because this is a gentleman that has lived in Lubbock a majority of his life, and he's already should be retired. He's been in Lubbock for a really, really, really long time. But so he knows a lot of people in the area, and he knows a lot of business, and we have to think beyond just the initial contact and what can this person do for me. So it's also, I had mentioned, a giver's gain mentality. What can you do for other people as well? So I'm attending his events. I'm spreading the words about his event. The facility that we had it at was kind of like it's Texas Boys and Girls Ranch. It is a alternative, I guess, so to speak, to a group home or something like that, where a child had to be taken away from their parent. And so it's a ranch to bring these children, but it's also bringing them on the faith-based side. So it's 100% nonprofit. It's not ran by the state. And they host different events. So I'm definitely connecting them with people that can help raise money for this nonprofit. So again, I'm helping them, and we have this communication. And so I was able to speak with the decision maker there, who knows other decision makers everywhere else. And then finally on Wednesday, 1, 2, 3, my fourth event on Wednesday was 4:30 p.m. Another ribbon cutting at J. Ferguson Roofing. Now, J. Ferguson Roofing is a great contact because guess what? When they have hailstorms out here, which they do, they know all these homeowners that are calling them with damage in their roof. So the fact that they get to connect with all these, not only personal homeowners, but commercial properties as well. But they work with a lot of homeowners that have to do this, that reach out to them. They have annual hailstorms here, multiple hailstorms a year. So that was a great contact to reach out to. Wanted to let y'all know how I'm getting these contacts at these events. So not only events, every time I meet with someone, I include that as an event. So I met with an attorney that was in this B&I group. And I forgot to go through all my pictures, but that's okay. An attorney that was in this B&I group, he was talking about building an LLC, which I need to do anyway to incorporate ACM, but a couple of my other businesses too. So I sat down with him and started chit-chatting. Did not share the business with him, but I did mention to my whole B&I group is that, hey, I'm starting to expand and I want to start building a team. If there's anyone, I didn't say everyone, I said if there's anyone that you know that is outgoing, that is a self-starter, self-motivated, that can either earn cash either on side of school or a side of what they're already doing, because remember, we're not deregulated yet, but who can earn some extra money, please send them my way and we'll see if it's a good fit. Well, he instantly thought of someone that he met in church. So it's a kind of a newer person in the area, but he was looking at switching job careers. So he already has what he's doing right now for sales, but he's kind of open to looking at new ventures or new ideas. And I chatted with him after a run. So also why I showed that goofy, silly picture of me is that you don't always have to be ready. So I was on a run. I had my cool down. So I just gave him a quick call and I introduced myself. And he said, "Yes, David told me about you. I'm really interested." And we just had some questions back and forth. And he started asking about the pay and commission and how it will work out. And I said, "You know what? It'd be better if I sat down with you and showed you everything instead of just throwing numbers to you over the phone. When are you free?" And I said, "You know what? I actually can meet you right now. I'm walking back to my car." And he's like, "Oh, I just finished mowing the lawn. I need a wash up. It's not going to be good." And I said, "Hey, remember I told you I was on a run? Let's just go." So we're both sweaty and nasty in this Texas heat, and we meet at a Starbucks and we met. And that's okay, you guys. Everything doesn't have to be perfect because we say it all the time. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. And he loved it. And his wheels are turning and his ideas are going. And I've been messaging him back and forth ever since Thursday. He even messaged me this morning. I'm supposed to touch base with him again this afternoon. And then 10:30, I had another ribbon cutting at Cookie Crumble. Let me go ahead and show you guys those pictures of what that looks like because I did catch that. So here was my ribbon cutting at Cookie Crumble. You see a handful of people outside and there's also a handful of people inside. And then they had this little photo booth going on. And instead of taking pictures by myself, I said, "Hey," and I pulled someone in and I said, "Wait, take a picture with me." And so we took a picture together. And I saw this cute girl in a cookie costume. And I said, "Hey, you need to take a picture with me too." And that's how we can talk to people. Took pictures with them, chatted with them. They happen to be friends of the new owner of this brand new Cookie Crumble. So that's how you start getting in touch with people, you guys. Before we get into that one, let's see. We had that ribbon cutting. I went to a young professionals luncheon, which is actually really good too. But this morning, before I even started talking to y'all, I went to an event this morning. So this was a fantastic event that I went to. It's a groundbreaking it was West Texas Heroes for the Lilly family. So these, let me get to this photo. You see the groundbreaking. What they do is they build homes for injured veterans, which I think is a phenomenal cause. But the whole community came out to help support this groundbreaking. They're going to start building a home for this gentleman, Mr. Jason Lilly, and his family, which is a great thing to do and a great thing to be a part of. This took probably like 15 minutes. They said a couple things, took some pictures, and it was done. Now, going out here in high heels, I wouldn't suggest. So if you see groundbreaking, definitely dress down because it was dirty. And yeah, I was out there like that. But you can see the crowd that was out there too. So here's to my right side, and here is the crowd to my left side. But this woman right here, Christy, I'm zooming in on her, not in the red shirt, but the one behind her. So she's right next to me. And I started chatting with her, and she's seen me at these events, make sure I've gotten all the pictures. I've missed a couple events, but that's okay. So let me end this so I can see y'all. Happy faces. So I'm at this thing that's lasting 15 minutes. It's outside. People are out there really just to take pictures. The news is out there. I don't know if you guys saw the camera in one of my pictures. The news is out there as well. And Miss Christy looks at me and she goes, "Remind me your name." And I said, "Hi, I'm Roxann." She goes, "Oh, my niece is Roxann. I'll never forget your name." And I say, "Fantastic." I've never met Christy, but she remembers my face attending all these events this past week or so. So I said, "Remind me your name again." And she says, "Oh, my name's Christy." Fantastic. I get her number. We're walking back to the car. And I said, "Christy, I'll walk with you." And she said, "Okay, great." And so we're walking. And she does not live in Lubbock. She lives about 30 minutes outside of Lubbock. But she said, "You know what? Being a member of the chamber, people are always asking me about energy." Because, of course, she asked, "What is it that I did?" And I told her. And she was like, "Oh, like all these companies coming in." And I said, "Absolutely." And she said, "Okay, well, a lot of people are asking me questions. And I feel like because I'm a chamber member, I should have more advice for them. I should have more knowledge." I said, "Christy, don't put that on you. It's not your job to learn everything new coming in. And that's okay. Let me help you with that." She said, "Yeah. So if people are asking me, I can send them your number." And I said, "Absolutely." So I got her card and she said, "Send me all your information. Let's connect." She doesn't even live in this town. And most people will say, "Oh, she doesn't have an energy account. I'm not going to talk to her." or whatever people's excuses are, but you never know who people might know. So attending these events are more than just showing your face, but making these connections. And I had more I wanted to get into, and I'm so sorry for going over. I want to be conscious of y'all's time too, but I wanted to bring y'all into my world. Everyone's saying, no, keep going. Bring y'all into my world and let you know how I'm making these connections, because I know it's easy to say, okay, attend these events and go for it, talk to people. Well, that's hard. So what's going to happen at these events that I go to for 15 minutes, these handful of people that I talk to and I'm building these relationships with, is the follow up, is the one-on-ones, it's the conversations, it's the coffee meetings. I take down notes. I had a one-to-one, which I didn't even talk about with this young lady, Miss Laura, this last week. We had a great conversation, didn't talk much about business. I know that her husband passed shortly after her husband passed of COVID. During COVID, her dad passed and she was going through some stuff. Get to know their personal lives, who they are. I know she wants to move to San Antonio. In these conversations comes out, I know she's done tons of network marketing before. Her late husband was the go-getter for that. And I asked her, well, what did you think about that? How did you like it? Before I even told her anything about Zoom Energy being a part of network marketing. And she says, I think it's great, but I don't think it's something you can do full time. I said, absolutely. It's just like any business. You have to build it first, because she was struggling and being the main breadwinner while her husband was struggling trying to build with, I'm not going to throw out names, but all these other network marketing companies, that it didn't work out. And I just nonchalantly mentioned, she said, yeah, I would do it again if it was with the right company. If it was with the right company, I believed it in a good service. And I'm thinking in my head, oh yeah, this is the right company. It is a phenomenal service. We have the best opportunity. So I said, I'd love to show you exactly what it is that we do and see if there's an opportunity. And she said, yeah, absolutely. So we scheduled something for next week because she was heading out of town. But she said, you know what? My friend from church absolutely is looking for something. I know she would be interested. And I said, great, let the both of us sit down and chit chat. So that's why these relationships are so important. I know that sometimes we talk about going out and peaking so many people all at once and getting these presentations in, which is a great thing. And I do that sometimes, but you have to know when it's great to build those relationships too. So go out, do what works for you. And it's a learning process, y'all. I have everyone telling me, man, you're the networking queen. Of course you can be dropped anywhere and create a network. Well, I've had to learn how to do that. My very first event, I remember, was at Little Wordrose. I walked in, I made myself a plate, and I sat at a table by myself, not talking to anybody. I didn't know how to do this, and it was awkward and trying to create these conversations. And the more practice you have, the better the conversations are, and the better you are at a conversation starter. Little things like the weather, y'all, really do start the conversation, and just move on from there. And I'm like, man, it's a beautiful day out today. It's not too hot for this groundbreaking. Thank goodness it's not too windy with all this dirt in our face. Whatever the conversation starter is, just get the ball rolling. And that's how we start creating and building a network. But it takes time. So don't be discouraged if you attend your first event and you walk home with no numbers. Don't be scared if people don't answer your phone calls. Just keep showing up. And I promise you, like Christy this morning, she's going to say, remind me your name again, because she thinks we've met because of the fact that she remembers my face everywhere, which we hadn't. So that's all I have for you guys today. That's what I wanted to end the month with some ideas to actually go out there this week. You don't have to do one a day. Just try doing one or two a week and get out there, get your face out there, get your name out there, and introduce yourself to people. This is where your new network is built. Because if you tell me I don't know anybody and I got through my network, my first thought is you're not working hard enough. Because I know I will hit that next promotion. I know I will become RVP. And I know people are going to say, oh, it's because you were at the right place at the right time. You were in Lubbock while they were deregulating. Yeah, it's because I'm working hard. I moved my life to Lubbock. That's work. I wasn't in the right place at the right time. It's not even the right time yet. They're not deregulating now until January. So they're pushing it back even more. I'm creating the right time. I'm creating the right environment, and I'm out there creating my network, my pipeline. I am working hard to get this going. So you guys, it doesn't come easy to anybody, but it does take work. So let's get out there. Let's close out this month strong. Let's get to work. If you get to work this week, I promise you, your October is going to be so much better than your September. So y'all, let's get out there. Let's get to work and let's build.